Give people a chance to come on now. Shalom, shalom, Yahweh Shem, Yahweh Shabbat, to all my brothers, Yahweh Shema, Shem, Yahweh Shah, to all my sisters. This is the ISUPK out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under command of General Yohana. And what we do is we teach the black, Hispanic, and Native people that they are the Most High's true and only chosen people, and that's proven throughout the Bible and archaeology. You know what I'm saying? So, just sit back, relax. We're going to be talking today on how pork is not our heritage. Pork is not our thing. You know what I'm saying? That was something that was given to us through slavery. And we're going to be getting into that today. I know a lot of people like to fight against that. How pork, crab, shrimp, lobster is such a beautiful thing. But according to the Most High, it is not. It is not, and it is a destruction to our people. It literally turns God against us. That's why we're number one in gout, number one in high blood pressure, hypertension, this and that. You know what I'm saying? We're number one on everything because the simple fact is we do not listen to the laws of the Lord. We do not listen to the laws of our God. We rather listen to white people, Salakia. We rather listen to our oppressor, and in listening to our oppressor, we end up following their ways of life. We end up following their ways of life, which ends up having us damaged. You know what I'm saying? Well, I'm going to open up the class to any questions. You got any questions? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Any questions? Write them on in, tag them on in. You know what I'm saying? I'm about to put in the as y'all think of y'all questions and type them on in. I'm about to put in the sign-in sheets on Facebook and Twitter. I mean, on Facebook and YouTube. Sign on in. Sign on in. You know what I'm saying? Get your attendance recognized so you can, if you're interested in doing your 6 months, getting your name. You know what I'm saying? Being recognized as a trooper, so forth and so on. You know what I'm saying? Definitely sign into this sign-in sheet that I'm about to put on the Facebook and YouTube. So as you think of your question, give me a sec. You know what I'm saying? So remember, if you got any question, type them on in. Type them on in. All right, we got those sign-in sheets up. I'm gonna give y'all a couple more minutes to get your questions in order. See, and all that. You know what I'm saying? As I get into this subject about Black history. As y'all do that, I'm going to start sharing this class, get it all around and about, you know what I'm saying, so we can understand our true history without the deceit and the manipulation of our enemies, you know what I'm saying. All right, shalom. You know what I'm saying? If you know if you understand anything throughout our history, our enemies literally, their whole agenda. Our enemies understood that the Most High was, you know what I'm saying, was on our side. And understanding that God is on our side, they also understood how to turn the Most High against us, which is by turning us against the Most High, having us following their laws instead of the laws of God. You know what I'm saying? Following their laws of, you know what I'm saying, all types of, you know what I'm saying, you can eat whatever you want to eat, so forth and so on. You know what I'm saying? You can live however you want to live. Love is love, and whatever other nonsense they want to spew. You know what I'm saying? So all that is based on, you know what I'm saying, them wanting to turn the Most High against us. You know what I'm saying? And with that being said, I'm going to need y'all to turn to Proverbs 28. Let's go to Proverbs 28 real quick. So this is deeper than what most people will understand. This is, people think of the Bible as a book of morale or book of fictional stories to teach life lessons and stuff. But no, this is actual history. I want to get to some things, you know what I'm saying? But let's get to Proverbs 28 and 9. So give me a sec, bear with me. Alright, if y'all got it. Proverbs chapter 28, verse 9. He that turneth away his ear from hearing the law, understand this. Him that turneth his ear away from hearing the law, that means they purposely don't want to hear it. They purposely don't want to hear nothing about God. They want to hear nothing about these law, statutes, commandments. They enjoy their life the way it is. They are too weak to actually understand that there's a standard and a code of ethics that we are supposed to live by. They will not understand that because the simple fact is they are comfortable in their ways. You know what I'm saying? But it's telling those people, those who are comfortable in their ways, those who do not want to follow the law, statutes, and commandments of God, those who turn their ear away from it, don't want to hear nothing about it, which is similar to your Christian pastors, because they will literally tell you that the law is done away with. They will literally tell you that the law is done away with. You know what I'm saying? And what the law is done, if the law is done away with, that means how can you get close to the Most High? And this is a tactic used by our enemies forever. Forever. And we're going to get into it, but let me continue further on in this verse. You know what I'm saying? Proverbs chapter 28, verse 9. He that turneth his ear from hearing the law, his prayer shall be an abomination. The most important part of that is if you don't want to follow the laws of God, your prayers won't be heard from God. You eating crab, pork, shrimp, and lobster, and when you hear brothers speaking against it, you turn away from it, you don't want to hear it, guess what? Your prayers are no longer heard from God. God is now considering you as a joke. The Most High will not want to hear your prayers after that. They're an abomination to him. It's a disgusting thing for him to hear. That's in Proverbs 28. You know what I'm saying? It's about as disgusting as it gets. You know what I'm saying? Y'all need to open up a little bit, understand a little something here. But this is not an old tactic. You know what I'm saying? This is actually a new tactic. And if you understand anything about black history, we've been eating pork since slavery. And those chitlins are like the link to it all. You know what I'm saying? Those chitlins are the link to it all. You know what I'm saying? But hold on one sec. Let's get into it a little bit. Let's get into the law real quick. Let's get to Leviticus 11. So you can understand how the Most High feels about us eating pork. We're going to go straight to the law. You know what I'm saying? Salaki, bear with me one sec. All right, we're in Leviticus 11. And it reads, Leviticus 11, verse 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses and to Aaron, saying unto them, this is the Most High speaking to the leaders of Israel at the time, which was Moses and Aaron. Moses at the top, Aaron right under him, because there's rank and order amongst black and Hispanic and Native people. We live by rank and order. You know what I'm saying? That's what we do. Verse 2. Speak unto the children of Israel. These are the beasts which ye shall eat among the beasts that are on the earth. The Most High is giving us a dietary law at this point. He's telling us what we can eat and what we should not eat. You know what I'm saying? And what we can eat, you know what I'm saying, is an abundance of things. What we can't eat is actually a small list. And it's all in Leviticus 11. And one of those things that we can't eat is pork. You know what I'm saying? Let's go to verse 3. Whatsoever parteth the hoof and is cloven footed, that means those that part the hoof, you know what I'm saying, their foot is parted. You know what I'm saying? Got that little split in the middle of their hoof. Because you can see a horse don't have that split. A horse don't have that split right in the middle. You know what I'm saying? And cheweth the cud. A cud is it's a way of eating food for animals. That means they eat, regurgitate it, swallow it back down, and their body digests it again. So it's a way that their stomach digests food twice. And the animals that do that are animals such as sheep, cows, you know what I'm saying, goat, you know what I'm saying, chicken. Those animals chew of the cud. They chew their grass or seeds or whatever they're eating, regurgitate it, digest it again, and that's their food. You know what I'm saying? Those are those who chew of the cud. Or of them that divided the hoof as a... Oh, Salaki, I skipped ahead. Salaki, verse 3. Whatsoever parteth the hoof and is cloven footed and cheweth the cud among the beasts, that shall ye eat. So those who chew cud and have cloven feet, those we can't eat. You know what I'm saying? For example, a horse chews of the cud. A horse chews of the cud. But a horse is not cloven footed. So we can't eat horse. Who in the world wants to eat a horse outside of Arabians and Asians? See, the problem is we like to follow their customs. That's why so many of us are Muslim, so many of us are Buddhists, so many of us go into Chinese restaurants eating whatever they serve us. We catching COVID-19, dying, because we cannot follow the Lord's law. It's just that simple. But Salakia, let's get into it a little further. Verse 4. Nevertheless, these shall ye not eat of them that chew the cud, or of them that divide the hoof, as the camel. For example, a camel. A camel divides the hoof, but it don't chew of the cud. You know what I'm saying? There's animals that chew of the cud and not divide the hoof, like a horse. You have to have both attributes. Both attributes. For example, a pig. A pig don't have both attributes. But we're going to get into it. Because, this is talking about the camel. Because he cheweth not cud, but divideth the hoof, not the hoof. Remember, well, that's right, camel don't have a divided hoof. Camel don't have a divided hoof. It don't chew of the cud. It don't do nothing. So we can't eat that. Out of all the beasts that's walking around, we can't eat stuff like that. That's why you got these Asians out here eating bats, rats, cats, pork, crabs, shrimp, and lobster, because they don't have no ethics in their diet. They don't have no morals about what they put in their mouth. You know what I'm saying? But Salaki, may I continue? But divideth not the hoof, he is unclean unto you. Now, understand that. Those that divide not the hoof is unclean to you. Those who do all these types of things, that's unclean unto you. That's not our way of living. It's a disgusting way of life. You're eating pork, crab, shrimp, lobster. You're doing all types of madness, and it's not of God's law. You know what I'm saying? That's why you end up with hypertension. That's why you end up with gout. You know what I'm saying? And you saying, but hold on, why are we number one in it? Why do we have the most gout, most hypertension, most high blood pressure? It's simple. In Psalms 147, 19 and 20, it literally says that the law was given unto black, Hispanics, and Native people. The law was not given unto anybody else. They do not understand the law. They do not understand its punishments of breaking them. It's like, for example, you know what I'm saying? Your mother tells you not to eat crayons. And she catches you and your friend, your next door neighbor, eating crayons. Is she going to punish you and the next door neighbor, or is she just going to punish you? She just going to punish you. The next door neighbor is not her child. Next door neighbor is not her concern. The next door neighbor is not who she is responsible for. We are the Most High's firstborn. us black Hispanics and natives. Though we are not the oldest nation, we are his firstborn. We are special unto him. And us breaking his law, statutes, and commandments is why we're in this situation today. That's why we're number one in the COVID deaths. Because the simple fact is we're not following his law, statutes, and commandments. But let me continue. Verse 5. No, let's drop down to verse 7. Verse 7. And the swine, though he divide the hoof, you know what I'm saying? Pigs, they got cloven feet. They divide the hoof, their feet are cloven, got a little thing poking out and everything. Actually pokes out toward the back. But pigs' feet are cloven and divided. Their little hoofs and all that, that's cloven and divided. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he cheweth not the cud. Pigs don't chew of the cud. They don't eat the grass and seeds and whatever else and regurgitate it and redigest it. They don't do that. What they do is eat anything that's in front of them. They eat feces. They eat all types of other things. They eat anything that's in front of it. You know what I'm saying? There's pigs that eat cans. There's pigs that eat all types of nastiness. They're literally the garbage disposal of the farm, which is not necessarily a bad thing. That's what they're meant for. That's what they're built for. They're built to be the garbage disposal of the farm. That's their purpose. But are they meant to be eaten? Are they meant to be food? No, pigs are not meant to be eaten, and they're not meant to be food. You know what I'm saying? That's not what they're meant to be. You know what I'm saying? Sly, we got a question. We got a fool on here talking about he's eating a ham sandwich while he's watching this. Most High in Christ. Eat that ham sandwich while you're watching this. Hopefully the Most High deals with you as you're watching this. Hopefully the Most High corrects you in your mistake of eating pork, crab, shrimp, lobster, whatever, while you're watching this. You know what I'm saying? But may I continue? Verse 7. And the swine, though he divided the hoof, and be cloven-footed, yet he cheweth not the cud, he is unclean to you. The swine is unclean to you. It's just that simple. All your bacon, pork chops, you know what I'm saying, gelatin, all that stuff is unclean to you. You should not be digesting that stuff. It's literally one of the reasons why we are at the bottom of the health scale. Literally. There's literal links to black people and black people's bad health and pork. You know what I'm saying? Like, people like to, it's open knowledge that people contribute our deaths with this COVID-19 to our lack of health coverage and our lack of bad health decisions. But they will not openly say that, even though it's openly connected, us eating pork is openly connected to our bad health. But they will not openly say us eating pork is connected to us having COVID-19. They will not openly say that. But let me tell you, that's what it is. Us having this bad diet of pork, crab, shrimp, lobster, catfish, so forth and so on, cat, dog, rat, bat, because we eat whatever Asians give us, all that's connected to our bad health. All of it's connected. You know what I'm saying? But he is unclean to you. Let's verse 8. Of their flesh shall ye not eat, and their carcass ye shall not touch. We can't even touch a dead pig. We can't even touch a dead hog. That is something that we should not be touching, period. You know what I'm saying? May I continue? They are unclean to you. So eating it and touching it when it's dead, of course, you're only eating down. I don't know. I mean, some of us follow white people to the point, but eating live animals is wrong. But eating dead pigs and touching their carcass is against the Most High. It makes us unclean. We're sinning. You know what I'm saying? But let's don't get into it. Any more questions? Let's get into it again. Charlemagne Lee, yes, we are God's people. We are truly God's people. You know what I'm saying? Well, let's get to Maccabees 7. If you don't have Maccabees in your Bible, there's a reason for that. Maccabees is a book that was taken out of the Bible due to Catholic dogma. The Romans did not want to put it in there because how it crucified them and their forefathers, the Greeks. It crucified them and it made them look bad, and it did not solidify the Christian way of life. You know what I'm saying? It did not solidify it. What it did was turn the Christian way of life and it shut it upside down. See, the thing is, the Apocrypha, which is historically accurate, it literally is the connection between the Old Testament and the New. If you look at it, the Old Testament and the New Testament never speaks of the Greek captivity that the Israelites were in. But we all know the Greek Empire exists. The Bible speaks of every empire. As we see the Bible right now, it speaks of every empire but the Greek. You know why? Because the Roman Catholic Church took out the Apocrypha, which the Greek Empire was in. And we are about to get into one of those stories of the Greek Empire and how they try to rule us. You know what I'm saying? But let me get into it. Let's go to Maccabees, Second Maccabees 7, which is a beautiful story. Second Maccabees and 7 is a beautiful story because it shows you how hardcore our women were. It shows you how hardcore our brothers were. How they were so hardcore, they were willing to die for these laws, statutes, and commandments. They were willing to die for their honor, willing to die for their culture. You know what I'm saying? Which is something that is lost today. Which is something that can only be upheld in the ISUPK. Only we understand that. You know what I'm saying? Only we understand that we are the ones that have to do what this sister did. What these brothers did. Which is die for these laws, statutes, and commandments. And in turn, you are dying for your brothers and sisters. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to get into it a bit. Let's get into it. Second Maccabees chapter 7. It came to pass also that 7 brethren with their mother were taken. Now you got 7 brothers. 7 boys. This woman had 7 boys. Now you understand the connection between a mother and her sons. Mother and her sons is a strong connection. You know what I'm saying? Now there's 7 of them. You know what I'm saying? Let me continue. And compelled by the king against the law to taste swine's flesh. Now the king, this was a Greek king at the time. The Greek king was trying to compel this woman and her 7 sons to eat swine's flesh. That's all he was trying to do. Y'all make it seem like it's nothing but pork. You know what I'm saying? That's what y'all said. If it's the only thing that was out here left to eat, you would eat it. That's the things y'all like to say. Because y'all don't have the integrity that this mother and her 7 sons had. Pork was literally pushed on us then, back in the Grecian times, back in the Roman times, back in the Egyptian times, so forth and so on. Pork was pushed on us because it could weaken us. Just like it was pushed on us during the transatlantic slave trade. It was all pushed on us back then. Literally, we did not choose what we ate as slaves. We got the slops and the leftovers. So while the master was eating pork, all types of pork ribs and pork chops and, you know what I'm saying, all types of pork loins and stuff, we was getting the pork chitlins. We was getting the guts, the pig feet, hog maw, all that other type of stuff. And we took it, did what we do, because we are the salt of the earth. We make something disgusting look fabulous. You know what I'm saying? But this woman and her 7 sons did not do that. It did not do that. You know what I'm saying? Let's get into it. Verse 2. Oh, Salakia, verse 1. It came to pass also the 7 brethren with their mother were taken and compelled by the king against the law. Why is it against the law? They were compelled by the king against the law. It's talking about the king was trying to tell them to do something that is against the laws of God, which we just read. We just read in Leviticus 11 that eating swine, eating pork is against God's law. That is literally it's literally the law. But this king was trying to compel them against the law to do what's against the law. You know what I'm saying? And were tormented with scourges and whips because they refused to eat pork, crab, shrimp, and lobster. Because they refused to eat swine flesh. Because they refuse, you know what I'm saying, to bow to the knees, you know what I'm saying, bow to the ways of Baal, bow to the ways of our oppressor. You know what I'm saying? They refuse to do it. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's saying right here. So, because they refused to fall to their ways, they were scourged, they were whipped, they were burnt, they went through all types of torture, which we're going to get into. They were refused. I mean, Salakia. This story is a beautiful story, but it's quite upsetting. They went through hell just to uphold the Lord's law. They went through straight up and down hell. You know what I'm saying? But let me continue. Verse 2. But one of them that spake first said thus. Now one of those brothers came forth. He had something to say. He had something on his mind. He had to speak up. He had to stand for something. Now what is it that he had to stand for? What did he have to say? You know what I'm saying? He getting beat up. What did he have to say? Why didn't he compromise and just do what his master told him? Let's get into it. What wouldest thou ask or learn of us? We are ready to die. So why are you asking us to do this? What do you think you're going to get from it? What do you think you're going to get from asking us to eat pork? What do you think you're going to get for asking us to, you know what I'm saying, do your will over the Most High? He said, we're ready to die, which is quite honorable, which is quite beautiful, which is quite honorable, which is hardcore as can be. A lot of people don't have that fortitude. The only people that have that fortitude nowadays is the brothers and sisters in the ISUPK. They have something to stand on. They have a sense of dignity, a sense of honor, a sense of morale. But everybody else, nah. It's tradition. My grandmama used to make this. I was raised off of this. But let me tell you something. Our ancestors literally died not to do it. You want to brag about how our ancestors died to vote, how our ancestors died to eat amongst them, how our ancestors died to be equal, or so forth and so on, to be up in their schools and get all these books, whatever. But none of that is of the laws of God. But what is of the laws of God is not to eat pork. What is of the laws of God is not to integrate with them. So which one should I uphold? Which one should I respect more? Should I respect Martin Luther King more than I respect this woman and her 7 sons? No. Because they upheld God's law. Martin Luther King upheld his own lust. You know what I'm saying? Martin Luther King upheld his own lust. So when we were in slavery, you know what I'm saying? We were there and we literally had to eat the scraps of what our slave masters gave us. Which were those chitlins, were those hog maws, whatever else. If you was a house nigga, you might have got a piece of pork chop. You might have got a little bacon or whatever, so forth and so on. But it's not what we're supposed to be doing. In fact, breaking God's law is why we're in this situation, period. But let me continue with the story, though. He said, we are ready to die rather than to transgress the laws of our Father. What are the laws of our fathers? What are the laws of our fathers? Let me know. If you know anything about the Bible, what are the laws of our fathers? Where can they be found? Where can the laws of our fathers be found? Let me tell you, they can be found in Genesis. They can be found in Exodus. They can be found in Deuteronomy, Numbers, Leviticus. Leviticus literally is the book of laws. And Leviticus 11 is our dietary law. There's no way you can escape it. The law, statutes, and commandments simply is against pork, against crab, against shrimp, against lobster, against catfish, against whatever other abomination that y'all choose to eat. We speak against it every day. You can't blame us, say like you did not know. You knew. We're telling you now. If you got further questions, don't be ashamed to ask. But let me continue. Then the king, being in a rage, like he spoke up against the king. The king said, eat this pork. He said, nah, we'd rather die than transgress the laws of God. Now, to a king, he's showing the king that there's something more important than you. You are not who we should be following. We have what we should be following. You know what I'm saying? That's what he's telling the king. How do you think a king will feel about that? How do you believe a king will react to that? Let me tell you, not well. He does not accept that humbly. If he did, who knows what would happen? But he did not accept that well. Let's continue. Verse Salakia, verse 3. Then the king, being in a rage, now the king's upset. The king's upset. The king is in a rage right now. Commanded pans and cauldrons to be made hot. Like, I don't know if y'all know, you know what I'm saying, but let me see if I can find that image. I'm going to find a certain image for y'all to show you how much they uphold their traditions. I'm going to try to find the image. Man, if I could record from my phone, because I got this image stuck in my phone. Let me see if I can find it, because it's important for y'all to see this. For some reason I cannot find this joint. But there's an image out there. Bear with me. Bear with me. Man, I gotta be more hardcore and descriptive about mine. Yeah, this is it right here. Yep, found it. Let me transfer y'all to see it. Let me get y'all in it real quick. Did y'all see this? This is not foreign. What they used to do to our ancestors was cook us in cauldrons. Cook us in frying pans. I'm pretty sure y'all seen other similar joints. Like the one where they're about to lure a brother into a giant cauldron. Pretty sure y'all seen that. But it's not a rare thing. You know what I'm saying? They used to do this. They used to do that to us all the time. Boil us. You know what I'm saying? Tar and feather us. They used to do all that. You know what I'm saying? But hold on. Tar and feather us. They used to do all types of erroneous type of things to us. You know what I'm saying? But let's get back into it. I just wanted y'all to see that picture, just so y'all know what they did in Greece is not too far what they did in America. You know what I'm saying? What they did in America was like advanced Greece. You know what I'm saying? But let's get into it. Then the king, being in a rage, commanded pans and cauldrons to be made hot, with forthwith being heated. Now the pans and the cauldrons, they're heated up. They're nice and hot. You know what I'm saying? He commanded to cut out the tongue of him that spake first. Now that brother that spoke out and said, yo, we'd rather die than break the laws of God. That brother, he got his tongue cut out. He got his tongue cut out. He can't, after that, he can no longer speak. But honestly, he said all that needs to be said. You know what I'm saying? And to cut off the uttermost parts of his body. You know what his uttermost parts of his body is? Legs and arms. They cut off his legs and arms. You know why they cut off his legs and arms? Because he upheld the laws of God and refused to eat pork. You're not that hard. You're not willing to stand for anything. You know what I'm saying? But this brother stood for the law, statutes, and commandments of God. You know what I'm saying? And in doing so, he literally, you know what I'm saying? How may I put it? Lost his life. He literally lost his life. But let's get into it in a little more detail. Utmost parts of his body, the rest of his brethren and his mother looking on. Now, you got his brothers seeing how his brother stood tall for the laws of God. His mother seeing how he stood tall for the laws of God. They all see what they did to him. They cut out his tongue, chopped up his arms and his legs, popped them in the skillet, frying them. Now, what do you think's going through their mind? What do you think going through their mind? Better yet, what would go through your mind? How would you think? What do you possibly think would happen in such a situation if you was in it? You got your mother next to you, or better yet, if you're a sister, those are your sons. One of your sons stood up for the laws of the Most High, and you see what the results of that was. You know how many brothers and sisters end up being hanged for trying to uphold the laws of God? Or being tarred and feathered, drawn and quartered for upholding the laws of God? Let me continue. Verse 5. Now when he was thus maimed in all his members, he commanded him being yet alive to be brought to the fire. Now, cut off his arms, cut off his legs, you cut out his tongue. Now, the brother's still alive because, the heart's still pumping blood. He's still alive. He's getting blood to his brain and so forth and so on. And while he's still alive, the king commanded this. Let me continue. Yet alive to be brought to the fire and to be fried in the pan. And as the vapors of the pan was for a good space dispersed, they exhorted one another with the mother to die manfully, saying thus. I'm going to get to what she said later, but let me put it like this. The brother already had his arms, his legs, his tongue chopped off. Now the brother's barely alive, clinging on to life, because he stood for the laws of God. Guess what? They were flung in the frying pan. He was flung in the frying pan. Literally told to fry. How you frying somebody? There must have been oil in it too. See, our enemies are evil. And look what they're doing to us now. Literally when we're not breaking laws. When we uphold their laws. Remember Philando Castile? Philando Castile said he had a gun license. Said he had a gun on him. Said he was going to reach for his license, following their law, and still was killed. Still was killed. Following their laws definitely ain't going to save us. But they such vile and hateful beasts. Us following our law is why they hate us. Them knowing us breaking his law will make us weak. Literally will make us weak as a nation. You know what I'm saying? But let's get into it a little further. You know what I'm saying? Salakia. Verse 6. Oh, Salakia, let me go back mid-verse 5 about. They exhorted one another with the mother to die manfully, saying thus. So his brothers and sisters were gaining courage by the way that he died. He ain't going to die in vain. Because his brothers and sisters were like, yo, we ready. And not brother and sister, brother and mother. Like, yo, we ready. We ready to go out. We ready to uphold the laws of God. That's what they were ready to do. And they did that. Well, let's continue. Verse 6. The Lord God, Salakia, exhorting one another, the mother, to die manfully, saying thus. This is what the mother's saying. Listen to what the mother's telling the rest of the kids. Salakia, bear with me 1 second. Look what the mother's about to tell the rest of the kids. Verse 7. So when the first was dead after this number, they brought the second to make, Salakia, verse 6. The Lord God looked upon us. Like she's telling them, the Most High is looking upon us. The Most High is testing us. He's putting us through some things right now. You know what I'm saying? And in truth hath comforted in us. Yeah, the Most High is smiling upon us. We uphold these law, statute, commandments like your brother did. God is literally smiling upon us, finding comfort in us. You know what I'm saying? As Moses in his song, which witnessed to their faintness, till their faces declared, saying, and he shall be comforted in his servants. The Most High smiling upon him. Most High smiled upon that brother that died. He's going to get a great reward in the kingdom. What are you sacrificing? What are you sacrificing? You want to put Martin Luther King above these brothers and sisters? You want to put all types of people who are worthless, Frederick Douglass, and so forth and so on? What did they stood for? Frederick Douglass ain't even black. His mama black, but his daddy is slave master. But this brother died upholding the laws of God. You can't even uphold your own moral standards that you made up. You're weak and fall into that. But we here, us in the ISUPK, we're going to uphold the Most High's laws, statutes, and commandments. We're going to uphold those standards. We're going to look at this brother as a shining example. Look at this mother and her sons as a shining example to how to follow the laws of God. Be willing to risk our lives to do so. Let's continue. Verse 7. So when the first was dead, now the first brother died after this number. That means what they did to that brother? Because he refused to eat pork, crab, shrimp, and lobster? They killed him because of that? You know what I'm saying? When the first was dead after this number, they brought the second to make him a mocking stock. Now the second one, they're gonna laugh, they're gonna joke at him, they're gonna clown him because of what they did to the first one. They think that at this point he will be too scared to follow his brother's footsteps. They're gonna think he's too scared to go forth with it. But these brothers were raised righteously. These brothers weren't scared. You know what I'm saying? But Salakia. Salakia, making a mock stock. And when they had pulled off the skin of his head with the hairs, that means they scalped this brother. They literally pulled off the skin. They pulling his hair out. They treating him mad atrociously. But these are the people you love. These are the people that you want to be equal to. You want to be equal to these Greeks. You want to be equal to these Romans, these Italians, these Irishmen, these Englishmen, these Frenchmen, these Spaniards. You want to be equal to them. But look at the type of way they think. Look at the way they think. This is historical. This sister raised her sons well. Had them willing to die for the law, statute, commandments. And they mocked the second son and pulled out his hair, pulled the skin from his head while they were pulling out his hair. They literally scalped the brother. Continue. They asked him, "Wilt thou eat?" So they asked him, they pressured him. They pressured him. Will you eat? You know what I'm saying? They pressuring the brother. Will you eat this pork? After they pulled out his hair, gave him a little sample of what's to come. After he seen what his brother went through, now they want to ask, are you willing to eat? Let's see what this brother said. Slacky. Give me a second. Slacky said, "Wilt thou eat before thou be punished throughout every member of your body?" So they reminded him. They literally reminded him what happened to his brother. What's your members of your body? The members of your body is your arms, your legs, your head, your tongue, so forth and so on. Those are the members of your body. Those are the things that bring your body together to be one. Saying you might be punished through the members of your body. You might go through the same thing your brother went through after they scalped him. They already bloodied and beaten him up. Now they're saying, hey, sure you want to eat this pork now? Sure you don't want to? See that type of pressure? That type of pressure is real. No different from the pressure when you be telling people that telling you not to eat pork. Hey, I was raised off this. This is delicious. You know what I'm saying? No different from that type of pressure of saying that, you know what I'm saying, we was raised off this. You know what I'm saying? My ancestors died with this. It's no different. The pressure is there. Now let's continue. Before thou be punished throughout every member of thy body, verse 8. But he answered in his own language and said, no. His brother answered in his own language. Remember, he's an Israelite. He literally said la'ah. He literally said la'ah. You know what I'm saying? He said no. He was not going to eat that pork. He is not going to eat that crab. He's not going to eat that shrimp and lobster. Imagine if he did. The Lord's wrath will not be turned against the Greeks. The Lord's wrath will be turned against Israel. Because this brother had the law. They knew the law. The fact that they stood up for the law is what's miraculous and beautiful. The fact that they had standards, morale, That's what made them strong. Let me continue. Verse middle of verse 8. Wherefore he also received the next torment in order as the former did. So they did to him the same thing. They did to that brother, the second brother, the same thing. Same exact thing. They cut off his arms, cut off his legs, cut out his tongue, after they already scalped the brother. Threw him in the frying pan, sizzled him up, sauteed him. I would not be surprised if they ate him. They're willing to eat pork. I'm pretty sure they're willing to eat humans. But let me continue. Verse 9. And when he was at the last gasp, he said, now the brother's on the brink of death, and he has something to say. And this is what he said. Thou like a fury takest us out of this present life. Now he's about to get into something deep. He's about to mock the king as he's dying, as the king is killing him. He ain't no coward. He's still fighting. But the king of the world shall raise us up. So he's saying, you're like, yo, you may take us out with this fear, but the king of the world, the most high power, shall raise us up. You know what I'm saying? He shall raise us up, and it might even get deeper than that, man. It might even get deeper than that, but that's outside of the subject I'm trying to teach right now. But just know this, these brothers will be raised back up. You know what I'm saying? These brothers will be back. But this brother stood up fighting. He stood up fighting for everything. But let's continue. You know what I'm saying? Sloggy, bear with me. End of verse 9. Who have died for... Oh, Sloggy, let me get back. But the king of the world shall rise us up, who have died for his laws unto everlasting life. That's the reward. That's the reward of doing what we do in the UPK. Nobody in the world right now stands up and fights for the law like us in the UPK. These brothers lost their lives, and us in the UPK, we are so willing to lose our lives for these law, statutes, and commandments. Don't test it. Do not test it. Because these brothers fought back, but their fight back was a spiritual fight back. You know what I'm saying? And the Most High looked upon that, and he remembered that. He remembered that. But Salakia. Verse 10. After him was the third made a mocking stock. And when he was required, he put out his tongue, and the right soon holding forth his hands manfully, and said courageously, these I had from heaven. Like my man, he held his hands forth. These came to me from the Most High. The Most High gave me these. Not y'all. The Most High gave me these hands. Let's continue. Salakia. So the Most High gave forth his hands manfully and said courageously, these I had from heaven, and for his laws I despised them. Salakia. These I had from heaven, and for his laws, he's talking about the king, I despised them. He despised the king's laws. And from him I hope to receive them again. Like, he throwing out his hand, he despises his hands. What are these? Take these. These hands, take them. I got these from God, and God will give them back to me. These ain't nothing. These are warriors. That's a warrior way of thinking. That's a warrior way of thinking. You want to die because you don't want to eat pork. Not just because you don't want to eat pork, because you want to uphold God's law. That's a warrior way of thinking. Not a lot of people have a warrior frame of mind. You know what I'm saying? Not a lot of people have that. Well, let's continue. Slocky, I heard some beeping, y'all. Verse 12. Insomuch that the king and they that were with him marveled at the young man's courage, for that he nothing regarded the pains. When they chopping his hands, his arms, legs off, my man didn't yell, didn't cry. My man showed no pain. He showed no pain. He wasn't even flexing. He showed no pain at all. You know what I'm saying? Slocky, bear with me. Slocky, verse 13. Now when this man was dead also, they tormented and mangled the fourth in like manner. So now this woman lost 3 kids. Now the fourth is going through the same thing his other brothers did. Getting chopped up, burnt up, cooked up, all doing this with no type of sedative or nothing. That's the mind of our enemies. They don't care what we go through. Our enemies don't care what we go through as long as they do what's acceptable to them. Speak against homosexuality right now. You will be crucified. But these brothers right here and this woman, this sister, they stood against them and stood for the laws of the Most High. Now she lost 3 sons, and the fourth one she's losing in like manner. The same fashion. But let's continue. Salaki. Verse 14. So when he was ready to die, he said thus, it is good being put to death by men. Must I read that again? Must I read that again? Must I show you this brother's warrior spirit? Let me repeat it. Verse 14. So when he was ready to die, he's on that cusp. He's right there. You know what I'm saying? He's right there. He said thus. This is what he said. This is what he said. He said this. It is good. It is good being put to death by man. Whatever y'all doing, it's a good thing. You know what I'm saying? It's a good thing. It's not even fazing me. To look for hope from the Most High, to be raised up again by Him. That's what we do this for. That's literally what we do this for. See, the thing is, that's what made us different from every other nation. And that's what makes Christianity so disgusting. Christianity instills the fear of death. But us in the Black Hispanic community, our ancestors did not fear that, because the simple fact is, That was not our beliefs. We believed in reincarnation. We knew that the Most High was going to bring us back. We understood that much. We understood that. So us dying wasn't a major issue. But Christianity makes it a major issue. Christianity makes it a major issue by telling us when we die, we get to heaven or hell. Now, the heaven part's one thing, but the hell part is what we're scared of. And now being scared of that is why we're scared to die. Well, let me tell you something. We're in hell right now while we're living. Hell is not a physical place after death. Because how can your spirit feel pain? It has no nerve endings. You know what I'm saying? But that's a different subject. I will get into that one day. But at the same time, let me tell you this. Our brothers and sisters in this story were willing to die for the laws of the Most High. I gotta ask you, if you're in this class right now, what are you willing to die of? What are you willing to give your life for? See, me, I'm willing to give the life for my brothers. I'm willing to give my life for my people. I'm willing to give my life for my children, my woman, all of that. I'm willing to give my life up for the law. You want me to break the laws of God? Nah. Death. Give me death. You know what I'm saying? But let me continue. Salakia. To look for hope from God to be raised up again by him. As for thee, thou shalt have no resurrection to life. Now he cursed it. He telling them they don't have no resurrection to life, which is true. They're not of our people. Their resurrection is not going to be to life. It's going to be unto death. They will be our slaves. They will rebuild our kingdom. Their resurrection is unto death. They will not be in heaven. They will be in hell. But Salakia. Oh, let me catch up where I was. Hold on. Okay, there we are. Verse 15. Afterward, they brought the fifth also and mangled him. Now the fifth son's going through the same thing. The fifth son's going through the same shit, and they're going to have to deal with it. This brother is going to have to muscle through it. It's a heavy burden to see. It's a heavy burden to see your brothers die because they will not eat a piece of meat. And that burden of not eating a piece of meat is righteous. Because that burden of not eating a piece of meat is not of man, it is of God. It is simply of God. You know why? Because God told us not to eat pork. God told us not to eat crab, pork, shrimp, lobster, you know what I'm saying, rat, cat, dog, bat. That's why coronavirus exists. Because people do not want to follow the dietary law. But that's not why we catching it. Dietary law was broken by people that it was never given to. So the COVID was, that's how the COVID came about, but the COVID it's a curse from God to get this world correct. You know what I'm saying? It's a curse from God to get this world in order. But hold on one sec. Verse 16. And Socket. Then looked he unto the king and said, Thou hast power over men. So he's looking at the king. I mean, looking at the king, and he said, Yo, you got power over men. You got that. You slayed 4 of my brothers before me. You got power over men. But let me continue. Thou art corruptible, but you ain't righteous. You ain't solid. You ain't foolproof. You are still able to be broken. You know what I'm saying? Thou dost what thou wilt. You do what you want. He's telling him, you do what you want. Go ahead, do what you want. You did what you want to do to my brothers. Hell, go do what you want to do to me. I'm standing where my brothers stood. You know what I'm saying? Yet think not that our nation is forsaken by God. See, that's the thing right there. That's their whole drive and motivation. They want us as a nation to be forsaken by God. That's what they want. They want us to be forsaken by God so we can be under their captivity forever. But that will not happen. Because the Most High will never forsake us as long as there's even one of us. As long as there's even one of us that's upholding the law. As long as there's even one of us that's maintaining these law, statutes, and commandments. You know what I'm saying? He would never forsake us. Because if he did forsake us, guess what? He's not just forsaking us. This whole planet will no longer exist. Boom. Salakia. Verse 17. But I abide a while, and behold his great power, how he will torment thee and thy seed. Like, this is a prejudgment of a visual of what Obadiah saw. He knew that because of what they're doing, his seed will be tormented. The Grecians are tormented to this day because of what they did to those brothers in that system. But look up the history, man. They do not have it like they used to. Look, they fell. They fell by a man who went crazy and burnt down his own people's nation. That is a heavy fall. A heavy fall. But let me continue. You know what I'm saying? Salakia. Verse 17, but abide a while, for God, but abide a while, and behold his great power, how he will torment thee and thy seed. After him also they brought the 6. Now that's the last thing that 5th brother said. He told them their seed would be tormented. He told them that they're going to go through hell just like we're going through hell right now. He told them that. He gave them all the goods. All the goods. But let's get into it a little further. You know what I'm saying? Salakia. Verse 18. After him also they brought the 6, who being ready to die said, now the 6, he already ready. He's seen how 5 of his brothers went out. The 6 is like, he just said, F it. He's ready to go. He is not going to be shamed to be the weak one. Who's that? Okay, I'll eat that pork chop. No, no, no. This brother is like, yo, he ready to go. He ready to lose his life over these law, statutes, and commandments, which his mother raised him properly. His mother raised him righteously. That's a beautiful woman. Let's get into it. Who, being ready to die, said, "Be not deceived without cause, for we suffer these things for ourselves, having sinned against our God." Now, that crushed the king. The king thought he had power at that point. He's killing these Israelites because they're not following their God's law. Ooh, their God's not saving them. But he's telling them, yo, we ain't suffering this because of you. We're suffering this because our ancestors and us, we broke God's law. We were out there eating pork crab, shrimp, lobster. We was out there doing all types of manner of drugs, smoking weed, and all this types of manner of madness. We were out there, you know what I'm saying, having sex with other men's women, sisters on stripper poles, prostituting. There's all manners of evil that we do now. But this brother was like, yeah, it ain't because of you, it's because we do that. Because we are breaking the laws of the Most High. I don't want to break them further. I don't want to be another reason why he is bugging out right now. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be that reason why the Most High is against the whole nation. Well, let's get into it even further. You know what I'm saying? Hold on, let's get into it. Be not deceived without cause, for we suffer these things for ourselves, having sinned against our God. Therefore, marvelous things are done unto us. He like, yo, we recognize the wrong that we done. But right now, we standing for the laws of the Most High. So we also recognize the marvelous things he will do for us. We recognize all that. You know what I'm saying? But whatever you do, you know what I'm saying? It will be of naught. It will be pointless. Because the Most High already has set his plan, which is for blacks, Hispanic, and natives to rule the world as one nation. It's all throughout biblical prophecy and it's throughout common sense. You know what I'm saying? But look, hold on. Let's continue. Verse 19. But think not thou that takest in hand to strive against God, that thou shalt escape unpunished. Now you think, let's put it like this. These heathens know the laws of God. They know it to the point that they will even tell you that the laws of God are done away with. They know it. Only way you can say it's done away with is by knowing what the laws are. Now, let's repeat this. You know what I'm saying? Let's repeat it. For be not deceived without cause, for we suffer these things for ourselves, having sinned against our God. Therefore marvelous things are done unto us. But think not that takest in hand to strive against God. Now, don't think the things you are doing is against God. Don't think that you are doing it is going to anger our power. Don't think that you are doing is going to have our power. You know what I'm saying? You can't anger our power. But let's get into it. That thou shalt escape unpunished. Like, yo, the thing that you're doing, Don't think that the thing that you're doing, trying to force us to eat crab, pork, shrimp, lobster, trying to force us to accept homosexuality, trying to force us to accept pedophilia, trying to force us to sell drugs, become as we are, trying to accept us to do all types of manner of madness. If you're single ladies, you know what I'm saying, any man can have you, all types of other madness. Like, nah, don't think that. Because you trying to promote that madness, you will not go unpunished. You will not go unpunished. You will have to deal with the same consequences as everybody else has. Well, let's get into it. Let's get into it. Slack. Verse 20. Second Maccabees, chapter 7, verse 20. But the mother was marvelous above all. The mother, she was something different. Because this is about the relationship between a mother and her son. And you know, these mothers would sacrifice their own lives before even the first one would even got killed. She would have tried to devise some scheme for them to escape or anything, but now she said, I'm going to stand and my sons are going to stand. This is a beautiful thing. This is something that does not happen nowadays. This is something that you will not see on a regular basis. This is something that, regular basis, you will not see at all. Because our women are willing to uphold the laws of man, willing to uphold the laws of our oppressor, because it comforts them in their lifestyle. It comforts them in their way of being. You know what I'm saying? But let's get into it. But the mother was marvelous above all and worthy of honorable memory. Like, you should not forget this sister. That's why she's written in the scriptures. Not many sisters are in the scriptures. But the few that are, they're memorable. They're righteous. They're something that should be upheld. And this mother and her sons are righteous and beautiful. It should be upheld. It's a glorious thing. But let's continue. For when she saw her 7 sons slain, oh yeah, all 7 were slain. All 7 were slain. All her sons were done. Killed. What does she have to live for anymore? Yes, she still has a womb. She can make more babies, but her sons are dead now. And women are very attached to their sons. Very attached. You know what I'm saying? Look, I have 3 sons. Their mother are very attached to them. She is very attached to them. Just like this mother is very attached to her sons. But this mother stood for righteousness. This mother stood for the laws of God. It's a beautiful thing. Well, let's get into it. For when she saw her 7 sons were slain within the space of one day, all 7 sons dead. Now, you know a mother in the hood who has lost multiple children in a day. Those sisters are, they're going through a lot. And they're going through a lot without upholding the laws of God. They're going through a lot. And that's due to whatever, so forth and so on. They're going through a lot. But this mother, she upheld the laws of God. And that's what made her to be remembered forever. That's why I'm reminding y'all of this history, so she could be remembered. While y'all out there wondering, worried and scared of some COVID-19, smoking all types of weed, crack, you know what I'm saying, taking all types of pills and drugs. Y'all lifestyle don't scare y'all. But y'all scared of COVID-19. Thing is, what you truly should be scared of is the Lord. You should truly be scared of the Most High. You know what I'm saying? But let me continue. She bear it with a good courage because of the hope that she had in the Lord. What is that hope that she had in the Lord? What is that hope? As a Christian, what is your hope in the Lord? Christians, your hope in the Lord is to be raised up in some cloud in the sky. You know what I'm saying? You're raised up in some cloud in the sky, and you have eternal life in some make-believe heaven. That's your hope. Not this sister's. The sister's hope was to come back to life with her sons and eternal life. They all come back righteously. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. Salakia. Verse 21. Yea, she exhorted every one of them in her own language. Like she giving them props in Hebrew. She giving them props in Hebrew. She gave all her sons props and respect and honor in Hebrew. That's something that y'all cats don't understand because, for one, we don't have our own language. You know what I'm saying? We don't have our own language. We don't have nothing. Everything we have right now is because of our slave masters. You know what I'm saying? But let's continue. Filled with courageous spirits and stirring up her womanish thoughts with a manly stomach. You know how much it is to stir up your womanish thoughts with a manly stomach? What are womanish thoughts in a manly stomach? A manly stomach is guts, able to withstand what's to come. A womanish thoughts is to fold, bend, accept. Now she was able to stir it together and still come out strong. She's able to stir it up. She's worried about her son. She's worried about all this. Her mind is in turmoil. Her mind is all messed up. And she's still willing to give it up to the Most High. She's still willing to stand strong for the Most High. And if you don't give that sister a hand clap, man, I don't know what the hell's wrong with you. But that sister's strong. You know what I'm saying? But hold on. Verse 22. Oh, Slakia. She said unto them, verse 22, I cannot tell how ye came into my womb. Now she's telling the seven, like, yo, I can't even tell you how you came into my womb. Because that's of the Most High. That's not of me. You came into my womb purely of the Most High. It is not of me how you came into my womb. That is not of me. Yeah, I mean, your daddy got it in, but a lot of people bust blanks and a lot of eggs are dead. Hell, a lot of times with the eggs ain't even active. You know what I'm saying? Like, she couldn't tell him how he got into the womb, but she can tell him something. Let's continue. Slack. Verse 22, I cannot tell how you came into my womb, for I neither gave you breath nor life. Like, she didn't give him breath or life because that's of the Most High. Yeah, she birthed him, but she didn't give him breath or life. You know what I'm saying? That's purely of the Most High. That's purely of the Most High. Neither was it I that formed the members of every one of you. Like, she ain't put their bodies together. Her and their father was just getting it in. They were having pleasures that come by night. And then things happened. The Most High gave them 7 kids. You know what I'm saying? When back then they were having 7 kids by one man. And nowadays they have 7 kids by 8 men. But this woman had 7 kids by one man, and she upheld them. You know what I'm saying? But let's get further into it. Verse 23. But doubtless the creator of the world, like, she don't even doubt that the creator of the world, who formed the generations of man and found out the beginning of all things, will also of his own mercy give you breath and life again. Like, this was Israelite custom. Reincarnation was Israelite custom. That's why they had to take this out of the Bible. This don't fit into that heaven and hell theory. Give them breath again? No, in heaven and hell theory, you either going to heaven or you're going to hell, and that's eternal. But in this proves that. Because this woman knew that the God of Israel would give Israelites breath again. Death, pain, physical torture to this body means nothing. We will be back. Just that simple. And this woman knew that. It's something that should be upheld, and it's glorious. It's absolutely glorious. It's something that is missed nowadays amongst black men and black women. How to raise our children in a way to uphold the laws of God. It's a lost art. It's a lost art. Nowadays, everybody just wants to just blend in instead of stand out. They don't want to upset the balance of things. But nah, not these brothers and sisters. No. Let's get further into it. And found out that the beginning of all things will also of his own mercy give you breath and life again, as ye now regard not your own selves for his law's sake. We didn't regard ourselves, we were regarding the law. Those brothers didn't regard themselves, they were regarding the law. They were doing what they were told to do from birth. Not just birth, from their ancestors' birth, which was to uphold those laws. You know what I'm saying? Now, Antioch, now y'all can look up in history. This is the Greek king that did all this, Antioch. He was the one that found comedy and favor throughout all this madness. You know what I'm saying? Salakia. Now Antioch, thinking himself despised and suspecting it to be a reproachful speech, which it was. It was. She was just straight up telling him that, you know what I'm saying, you do not hold the keys to this. You do not hold the power to this. You know what I'm saying? She's literally telling him that. The last thing a heathen king wants to know is that our power is in control of us. These Caucasians right now, they don't want to hear that. That's why they have us following their God. That's why they stripped us of our culture. That's why they stripped us of our language. That's why they stripped us of our, you know what I'm saying, ancestry and all that. They stripped us of our power, which is of the Most High. whilst the youngest was yet alive. Now this is the youngest son that's still alive. Like six are dead. The youngest is still alive. That's who she's talking to. She's talking to the youngest son. She's talking to the baby. Now you know how women are about that baby. That's the baby. He gonna be the baby forever. You know what I'm saying? It's a lock here. Hold on. While the youngest was yet alive, did not only exhort him by words, like she giving him props, but also assured him with oaths that he would make him both a rich and a happy boy. Like the king's like telling him, like, yo, to the youngest son, the least mature, the youngest in age, hey yo, you seen what I did to your brothers. You seen what I did. I'm going to do it to your mother. But yo, if you eat this pork, I'm going to make you the richest man. I'm going to make you rich. You're going to be happy. This is what's being said. But let me continue. You know what I'm saying? If he would turn from the laws of his fathers, and that also he would take him for his friend, like he's telling them. You turn away from the laws of God, you will be the king's friend. You will not just have money. He promised him riches, but he also is promising him power. Being the king's friend is power. You know what I'm saying? Who you know is power. And he's telling him, like, yo, you disown your brothers, you disown your mother. You do everything against them. You eat this pork. You break the laws of God. You will be my friend. I will give you riches. I will give you land. I will give you everything that you want. But let's see how strong this brother is. You know what I'm saying? But hold on, let's get into it a little further. And that he would take him for his friend and trust him with affairs. Like he's getting power. Verse 25. But when the young men would in no case hearken unto him, the king called his mother and exhorted her. Like, the mother's not dead yet. The son's not listening. And the king got a point to prove. Thing is, he can't kill them all because his point will not be proven. The king is already a fearful man. Antioch is a legend amongst Greeks. And you kill these dudes, it does not add to your legend. You kill this woman, it does not add to your legend. But getting Israelites to eat pork, that adds to your legend. Get Israelites to forsake their power and take you as their power, that adds to your legend. But let me tell you something. That did not go well. It did not go well at all. Now let's get into it. Verse 25. But when the young man would in no case hearken unto him, the king called his mother and exhorted her, and that she would counsel the young man to save his life. Like, yo, not even to save her life. There was no promise to her. But yo, this is your baby. Everybody knows how to get a black and Hispanic woman. You tell them this is for your baby? Yo, this is for the baby. They might fold, bend, and all that. You know what I'm saying? Because it's all for the baby. But this woman was a little different. This woman was extremely stronger than most black, Hispanic, and Native women today. Extremely strong. Let's get into it. Exhorted her that she would counsel the young man to save his life. Verse 26. And when he had exhorted her with many words, she promised him that she would counsel her son. Now, this is the wisdom of this sister. She promised the king that she would counsel him. She promised the king that she would speak to her son and give him advice. But there's no saying what that advice is. She did not advise him. We'll get into it. But counsel and advice, those were bland terms. And the king fell for it. But let's continue. Verse 27. But she, bowing herself toward him, she bowed herself toward the king, laughing the cruel tyrant to scorn. She was laughing at her, like she laughing. Spake in her country language on this man, like she's speaking to her son. Speaking to her son at this point. And she said in Hebrew, which is the language of an Israelite, O my son, have pity upon me that bare thee 9 months in my womb. Like she, a lot of black women will tell that to their kids. I carried you this long, I did this, I did that, I did that, typical stuff. This was deeper than that. This was a whole lot deeper than that. You know what I'm saying? Salakia, hold on. And gave thee such 3 years, and gave thee such 3 years, and nourished thee, and brought thee up unto this age, and endured the troubles of education. Like she taught him, she nurtured him, breastfed him, birthed him. Like, those things have value to a young man. Like, yo, she been down. She's the reason why I'm here today. Those things have value. You know what I'm saying? And now, let's see what she says after this. Verse 28, I beseech thee, my son, look upon the heaven and the earth and all that is therein, and consider that God made them of things that were not, and so was mankind made likewise. Verse 29, fear not this tormentor. Don't fear this man. Don't fear Antioch. She's saying this in Hebrew. They did not understand Hebrew. But she is counseling her son to them. And in their head, they thinking she's trying to talk him out of following the laws of God. That's what they're thinking in their head, because the simple fact is, any woman would take, she already lost 6 kids. She's down to her baby. Of course, she's going to try to convince him to live. But nah, not this woman. This woman is an Israelite woman. And it's not more important to an Israelite more than the laws of God. You know what I'm saying? But hold on. Where am I at? Oh yeah, verse 29. Fear not this tormentor, but being worthy of thy brethren, like do what your brethren did. Be worthy to be, those 6 that died before you, be worthy for them to call you brother. And there's only one way to do that, and that's to sacrifice what they sacrificed, which was their life. Only one way you could be a brother to Christ, and that's to sacrifice your life like Christ sacrificed his life for us. You know what I'm saying? But take thy death, that I may receive thee again in mercy with thy brethren. While she was yet speaking these words, the young man said, whom wait ye for? I will not obey the king's commandment. Like this brother, he like, yo, look, I ain't gonna do what he says. Who he? I recognize the laws of the Most High. That brother strong as can be. That brother about where it's at. You know what I'm saying? But I will obey the commandments of the law that was given unto our fathers by Moses. He was willing to recognize the laws of the Most High above the laws of the king, above the laws of the president. You know what I'm saying? Salakia. Verse 31. And thou that hast been with author of all mischief against the Hebrews shalt not escape the hands of God. Like, he's telling them, like, yo, this dude, he got his thing coming. For we suffer because of our sins. What we going through is because of what we did. What he going through is because of what he did to the Most High. Not even to us. What he did to the Most High. You know what I'm saying? Salaki. Verse 33. And thou, the living Lord, be angry with us a little while for our chastising and correction. Yet shall he be at once again with his servants. Like, we're going to get disciplined for what we do. But that's who we are. Like, there's a difference between when your child sins against you. When your child goes against your orders, that's a different thing than when a pedophile tries to attack your child. That pedophile most likely loses life. You don't have no mercy on that pedophile. The white man is a pedophile. And he has no mercy coming his way. But us, we got that. You know what I'm saying? Verse 34, but thou, O godless man, and of Salakia. But thou, O godless man, and of all other most wicked, be not lifted up without a cause, nor puffed up with uncertain hopes, lifting up thy hand against the service of God. Like he trying to tell him, don't get hyped up, thinking that you doing something, killing us. Don't get hyped up. You ain't doing nothing. This is of the Most High's will. This is so the Most High's glory could be shown. For thou hast not yet escaped the judgment of the Almighty God, who seeth all things. Like, you're doing this and doing that, but guess what? You ain't escaping the judgment of God. You're not escaping the judgments of the Most High. Point blank, period. For our brethren, verse 35, for thou hast not yet escaped the judgment of the Almighty God, who seeth all things. For our brethren who now have suffered a short pain, like what they suffered was short, are dead under God's covenant of everlasting life. Like, you killed us, but in short, our covenant, like, yo, we upheld the law. We died for this law. You ensured that. You know what I'm saying? You ensured that. Salaki. Salaki. Damn, I'm almost out of time. Hold on. Let me drop down a few verses. Verse 39. Then the king, being in a rage, handed him worse than all the rest, and took it grievously that he was mocked. Like, the king did not take that well. He mocked him, saying, what you doing ain't shh. You know what I'm saying? But hold on. So this man died undefiled. Like, this man died gloriously. It was a beautiful thing. And put his whole trust in the Lord. Last of all, after the sons, the mother died. Like, after all that, the mother died. After he killed all the sons, all 7 sons for not eating pork, the mother died. You know what I'm saying? He killed the mother. And verse 42. Let this be enough now to have spoken concerning the idolatrous feasts and the extreme tortures. The idolatrous feast is that Easter, is that Christmas, is that Thanksgiving, is that everything that y'all divulge with pork, crab, shrimp, lobster, y'all barbecues, y'all Juneteenth, y'all Cinco de Mayo's. All that is gross. But the Most High gonna deal with you. Because y'all weren't strong enough to be like this mother and her 7 sons. But I'm willing to die for these law, statute, commandments, are you? And with that, I'm going to end the class. Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shabbat to all my brothers, Yahweh Shemar Ba'ashim Yahweh Shadom, my sisters. Don't forget to pay your tithes. You know what I'm saying? If you want to be a trooper, get in all black, black shirt, black pants, black boots. And with that, shalom.